to me.
Oh my God. I feel like oh my God.
Whitey Bulge.
Oh my God. Whitey Bulge.
Big man.
Well, cheers and welcome to From Behind the Barcast, podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. I'm Whitey Bulger, if you can tell by the look here. We got Sunset Kelly over there on the ones and twos. And so listen, I've been wearing a skull cap for the past 7 weeks on the show because I haven't had a haircut. And someone has always seen me and they go, let me see what's going on under there. I was like, I'm not going bald.
Not remotely, no.
But then like if you're on Spotify or YouTube, I get on camera and I'm like, God damn it, I look.
It's a little hot up top.
A little hot up top.
But it ain't because of hair loss. No receding, nothing. No.
But yeah, it's been like 9 weeks since I've had a haircut and it's getting out of control, buddy.
What's out of control? Like too long? Or?
No, so all right, so look, I have a slick back like Whitey Bulger right now, right? But if I don't, I've got the whatever you call this. And then this is really compelling audio. Then there's this.
Yes.
Which is half blonde. I don't know, man.
Dude, you can pull off a lot of looks. Trust me. I've been wearing a ball cap forever. Not because I'm going bald. It's just I like a ball cap.
Well, here's the thing. Skull caps fit me with this amount of hair because I can't put a goddamn hat on. None of my hats fit me with all this muff under there. No. I would be on the very last clicker. And it just doesn't feel right.
It's a big noggin.
Yeah, especially with hair underneath it. I have very thick Danish hair. Good grief.
All right.
We know the lore of your cat.
Yeah.
And me cat sitting for you.
Yeah.
And Mooch.
Yes.
The possible foster.
Did he come around at all?
Well, I'm at Kelly's house. Da-na-na-na-na, and I was cat sitting. No. And I was prepared for baby girl, your current, you're the love of your cat.
Yes.
The cat of your life.
Yes.
I'm prepared for it because you said you can tell when she knows that Mooch is around there.
Yeah.
She has a different energy.
A little, yeah. The ears perk up. Something, she comes out of slumber and then looks a certain.
Because she's a real methodical kitty. She's not like, wha-bam, wha-bam. She's not.
She's got her spots.
So she'll go, huh? So when she whips her head around, so it's about 2:30 a.m., something like that. And she's inside at this point. And we're sitting there. She's on the ground. I'm on the couch. And full energy change. And she's looking towards your back door. And I was like, Mooch.
Yeah.
So I go and open it. She runs out. No Mooch. No nothing. I turn the light on. Meow? Anything?
Yeah.
Nothing. She stays out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here with the door open like, hey, can the stray cat come up and talk to me or something? So I flip the light off and I shut the door.
Yeah.
I walk back into your living room. I'm like, hey, well, since I've been laying down for 3 hours, I have to pee now. I go into your bathroom and the corridor on the side of your house, your bathroom window looks out into it.
Yes.
Right over the turlet.
Yeah.
So I'm peeing, and you've had a history of homeless people in your backyard.
Yeah.
You've had a history of people.
Well, the dude, yeah. The one, yeah.
Okay.
Random.
So I'm peeing, looking out the window, and here comes a man, almost in like a yellow rain jacket overcoat with a cane, which could have been a gun or a sword, and so immediately I shake it out.
I have blinds in the bathroom. By
I know,
the way.
but they were open. Yeah. So I can see out. It's fun to look out at things. Yeah. So I shake it off, and I walk up to the front because I'm like, do I have to confront a homeless person?
Right.
And I'll whip the door open, and he goes, hey, sorry I spooked you.
Yeah, that's just my neighbor. Robert.
And it was your neighbor. I was like, why is he walking down this other corridor? And now I get it. The cat knew he was back there washing clothes.
Yeah. So he lives next door to me downstairs, but he has to take the long way around. There's no way to get directly to the laundry room. And I hate that because that's just the way the yard's set up now. There's a fence, and so even though
Because it seems very inconvenient for him.
yeah, I mean, at his age, he's got a walker. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not decrepit necessarily, but he washes clothes at all times of night.
Yeah, I guess that was like 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So it didn't register. It was either a cat or a homeless guy squatting
Yeah. Or Robert.
or coming to murder me. I was like, that could have been a sword, not a cane. I don't know.
Well, you can whack somebody with a cane, definitely.
He's been yeah.
But dude, I mean, he's just an old dude. His hours are random. You know, he's just an old guy. Smokes his weed.
Yeah.
Listens to his little feet at any time when he, sometimes early, sometimes late. You know, and he washes his clothes when it's kind of like us in a way. The hours of when we do things. I wash clothes in the middle of the night. That's just what it is. But you sent me a text. I'm like, no, that's just dude next door. You're fine. Yeah.
But, I mean, it did spook me though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, and I'm glad I wasn't warned because I made up a story in my head. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
But yeah,
Vigilante.
Yeah, but no, he tries to lean over and pet baby girl, and she's friendly enough, and blah blah blah. But yeah, she's got that thing, like most animals do. They know when a little change in the atmosphere.
100%.
Absolutely.
Well, I definitely noticed a change. So I'll go cat sit for you about once a month, I guess.
Yeah.
The first 2 months, the old neighbor, he smoked some regular ass brick Mexican weed.
Probably.
So he must have gotten a new plug the past 2 times because it's been a lot more flowery and fruity of a smell coming from his
Pungent.
apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud.
Yeah.
Which good for him if he can handle it.
It's his medicine. It's got to be. He's not. He doesn't smoke it inside, but it does carry over. I mean, I know when he's been blazing.
Yeah,
away.
but I mean, honestly, like
Yeah.
now that can't be a complaint anymore.
No, it's not.
Well, no, but not for you, a weed smoker. I'm not even a weed smoker, but like for any even just platonic neighbor, they kind of can't be like, oh, it smells like weed. Well, yeah, so
Right.
fucking what?
Well, dude, all right, so complete aside, well, not aside, but so I went home to see mom, and she wanted me to go to an HOA meeting because she owns a couple of condos over in Augusta, and she wanted to be there, and she didn't want to drive at night, so she's, it's here nor there to me, what's going on at the association, that kind of thing. But there's a cop that lives in the building. I think every apartment complex has a cop that lives in the building, not premeditated.
But it kind of does work out that way, doesn't it?
And they kind of keep an eye on things. And a cop came to the meeting, and he was just talking about like the comings and goings of, what some random people came through.
Apartment 1A had a lot of
And apparently the neighbors next door blaze away, and he didn't arrest him or anything like that, but it's like he lives next door to people who just do not give 2 shits about smoking weed inside. So he went over there, just kind of knocked on the door and said, knock it off. I'm not arresting you.
But I am a cop.
Yeah. And he made it very clear that when he's not on duty, apparently it's like when you're not on duty, you try to stay out of things.
Oh.
I mean, you can call and let people know that something nefarious is going on or whatever, but it's like I'm off duty. I have a life, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to, I'm just here to tell you, I can smell it like high hell. If you want to go blaze, can you just at least do it outside?
Right.
We have a common area. Just go outside. I'm not here to, bust your balls. I am a cop, but
Yeah.
I get it. But like I said, I think he's just there to kind of sort of keep the peace. Let the neighbors know that, yes, there's a presence.
There's a presence.
Yeah. And I'll let you know people have been tugging on door handles, so be mindful of that. Or this gate's open because it's being fixed, so there's been some people trying to pass through, that kind of thing.
Right.
That kind of thing. So it was kind of enlightening going into an HOA, because you hear a lot of shit about that, people using funds nefariously and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But when I take Stephanie home, where she lives, there's a cop, a Chatham County dude, and his car's parked right by the gate.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's mandatory that they have a cop, but I think just about every apartment complex has a dude or two.
I bet there's probably some sort of not subsidy, but in an apartment building, if you're like new on the force and you're like looking for housing, they're probably like, hey, go to Alhambra or whatever, and you get 20% off because you're a cop and just having your car there.
Yeah.
Just the presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will quell 90% of anything that's going to go on there.
And he was there just to kind of give a state of the union, like all is good. We have some random interlopers that come through, and if it's something that I think needs to be addressed, I do.
Yeah.
And if it goes beyond that, then blah blah. But I've got eyes on things.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know. But like I said, he just went to the neighbors to let them know, like, I do live next door to you. It smells like high hell. Can you just knock it? Just take it outside.
Just take it outside.
Take it outside. Yeah.
And they got to know they live right next to the cop.
Well, maybe that's maybe that's when they figured it out. Maybe they were new or
right?
whatever.
Yeah. And he brought this up at the HOA meeting.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. No, just it was like, look. He even said like, look. Sometimes when you see the cop car out there, I do have my own personal car. I'm not there all the time. I do have a life. Besides arresting people and busting people's balls.
I mean, don't trust me, I love it.
But it was just a kind of a state of the union of the compliment. It's like nobody's gotten broken into. I've got wheels on the ground. I'm keeping an eye on things, and these are, just be mindful that a car got broken into. So maybe make sure you lock your doors. Yeah, that kind of thing. And while this is being repaired, I'm on it. Yeah, but it was. Like I said, I've seen some things on Netflix about these, the HOAs, and this has nothing to do with drinking or bar, but it's just kind of enlightening. I don't have to deal with that out here. I live in a house that's divided into 4 units. There's no meeting of the minds, about anything, about the plants outside, or are we going to get when's the hot tub going to be fixed? Or
make sure the trash can isn't 3 foot off of the sidewalk.
Why are the lights on all night?
Yeah, right.
That kind of shit. Why's your garage door open? That kind of thing. So there's that luxury. But you go to these things, and there's just concerned people. I live, and this is my space, and I pay for it, and I want to make sure that things are what they are.
And if you smoke indica, that's fine, but I don't want to smell none of that sativa.
Yeah,
that makes my cat angry.
I'm paying you $600 a month for whatever. I don't want to make sure it's going to whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's slow.
It is.
When, we're at the lull week of the sports. There's stuff on, but not really.
It's basketball and hockey.
And you can tell when bartenders are in the slow season because of their presence on social media.
Okay.
Because the last few weeks, every time I've opened pretty much any social media, it's like, hey, it's Kelsey. Come see me at 4:30 at the so-and-so bar. It's like, well, nobody's going at 4:30 anyway. Hey, working the afternoon shift, 2 to 6. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, come see me. Come see your girl. Or come see your favorite rock star here at the... But some places don't have to do that. You're already you're just busy already. Some places don't. Everyone feels the heat or the cold, whatever. Everyone has a lull, but some places, it's just funny when they're literally posting their empty bar, like, come see your boy.
Yeah. If it helps drum up business.
It doesn't, though. That's the thing.
Well, Huckapoo is just very unique. I think Huckapoo just kind of just runs on its own. I don't want to say it's on autopilot, but the people are going to come one way or the other.
Exactly.
Whether they're recommended.
Tom, Dick, and Harry being there doesn't matter.
Yeah, so you going on Facebook or whatever going, hey, I'm outside bar tonight.
Not moving the needle.
Yeah, they're going to come regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
But I could see maybe in other places where
maybe it might go from 3 people to 8 people. So that could make your night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, and especially if you're like a girl that they like.
Yeah.
Or, if there's some MILFs that want a hot young dude that they like that they want to throw money at, maybe.
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say I go to the Sandbar because Doug's there. Or I go to the Windrose because Patty's working.
Well, we all have our places that we go to because certain people are there. Yeah. But if you know they're there, you already know they're there.
But Doug's not going on.
He doesn't need to remind you.
I don't have Facebook, but he's
no, he doesn't need to remind you.
It's Monday night. It's Doug out. Let's get down.
Come listen to your favorite Norwegian death metal with me, baby.
Yeah, let's break it down.
But so since there's now, I think the timeline of this, the chronology of this is ESPN used to do wacky sports that they wouldn't show for the rest of the year during this period of time.
Right.
And then I think Dodgeball was the movie possibly where they coined ESPN The OCHO.
Yes.
So now ESPN has...
Well, back in the early days, we called it the Deuce, ESPN2.
Okay.
So there was cliff diving, darts, billiards, poker, whatever. Now it's more just regular ESPN, normal sports, and all that. And then they got ESPN News and all that. But yeah,
ESPN3, ESPN.
Yeah. But there was definitely back in the nascency of ESPN2, odd stuff at night.
Yeah, definitely. It would be like Malibu workout videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And strongman competition where everyone had the same first and last name. Yeah. Magnus Magnuson.
Yes.
Robert's daughter.
Yeah, but it was, like I said, there was cliff diving. There was any number of just stuff that wasn't the big four.
Right. Yeah. Well, So now, since they are embracing the whole ESPN The OCHO thing, I'm scrolling through Sunday night at work, and here comes the Ocho, and it's the National Air Guitar Championships.
You're shitting me.
No. It is the National Air Guitaring Championships. And presented by Jack Links. So they had Bigfoot out there as a judge, right? So we're watching it, and the people at my bar are getting pretty interested in it. The mayor was there.
Yes.
Both our ex-mayor and current mayor missed each other by like 30 minutes. Close friends with both, not a big deal. But so we're getting intrigued, and the music, is playing on the outside speakers. But at Pooh's, there's regions of speakers, so I can turn the outside speakers completely off.
Right.
So I was like, I want to hear the Air Guitar Championships. I want to see how they play those air guitars. So I ran inside and I turned the outside music down. I went back outside, turned the TV's level up. I'm kind of deaf, but not super deaf. I can hear clarity. I just can't hear things at really low volumes.
Okay.
The sound now. This is the Air Guitaring Championships. They're not using equipment.
Yeah.
Literally, all they have to do is play a goddamn song over a radio. It sounded like absolute dog shit.
Huh.
You could not hear the guitar. You couldn't hear what song it was. It was bad. It was just like. You would think that would be the first consideration.
Well, absolutely. I mean, how do you even judge something like that? I mean, do you have to be like animated and have some sort of?
Essentially, it's
thing?
a costume contest.
Okay.
With some dance moves. So the two finalists, one was called Mom Jeans, and just by the way she looked, like if her fupa was real, then it's magnificent. Uh-huh. But you could tell she stuffed her butt to make it wonky. Okay. Like mom butt wonky. Yeah. You know that butt.
Yes.
You've seen that butt.
Yes.
And then the guy looked like a low rent Macho Man Randy Savage.
All right.
Right? Dead or alive?
Macho?
Macho Man. Oof. See, now I know the answer to this. And we were talking about doing a new segment called Dead or Alive, where I'm going to ask you if you know if someone's dead or alive, and then you answer me on the next episode. Randy Macho Man Savage, dead or alive. So this guy looked like him.
Okay.
But not as good. And his guitar moves, the only cool one that he pulled out. So he's kind of doing, if you were the worst air guitar player in the world, this thing.
Okay.
If we're talking about air guitar, that's dumb.
Well, like every dude at any rock concert ever.
I want to see this. The thing he pulled out was the fake double guitar. What's the guy, Rick Nielman or whatever from
Nielsen.
Rick Nielsen? Yeah. But Mom Jeans, she just had the body that wouldn't quit. The mom body that just would not quit. Uh-huh. So I think she ended up winning, but I couldn't tell either of the goddamn songs.
Yeah. So
we ended up turning the sound off, the TV sound off, putting the music back on, and Pour Some Sugar on Me came right up. But listen, it almost immediately matched the tempo of Mom on the TV.
Like Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz.
Basically,
just kind of synced up all of a sudden.
Only way less magical. Because I'm like, if you're going to be an air guitarist, it better fucking dazzle me. And that guy just being fucking fat.
Look, I've been to any number of concerts, and we've all had that air guitar moment.
Air fretting.
I mean, we did it at Georgia Theater.
Who uses the strumming hand? Yeah. Nobody uses the strumming hand. You only use the fretting hand. Come on.
But look, I'm all about gamesmanship and anything that's competitive and all that. But that's kind of one of those arenas where how do you even judge it? So it's got to be. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Jack Links Bigfoot wasn't giving people high scores, even though they were the sponsor. He wasn't. He was like Dave Portnoy. He was not giving away easy scores. You know. I mean, I never saw him give above like a 6.8. So we're talking integrity here with the Jack Links.
Well, he's also in a costume, so he just takes it off and can wander away, and no one's going to know that he gave him a 6.
Someone kept going, "Why is Chewbacca there?" I was like, "Close, not exactly the same."
Oh, God. There's nothing that won't put on TV anymore.
But I know that I've heard of air guitar competitions before, like kitsy little shit at bars, you know?
Okay.
Because it's essentially costume dance contest.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably very specific for the Ocho.
The Ocho.
They were like, look, man, what's our headliner going to be? Yeah. Because right after it was cornhole, which is not so out of the cornhole's so ubiquitous now.
Yeah.
That it's not, you can see cornhole at almost any bar.
Sure.
Air guitar?
Not so much.
I mean, not a sanctioned competition.
Sanctioned.
From Jack Link's, the high authority of air guitarisms.
We want you to be commissioner of this.
I'm waiting for the air drumming competition. Thank you very much.
Well, dude, if you go to any concert, there's somebody doing air drumming. There's somebody doing air guitar or singing along, whatever.
Air bass is a little rare.
A little rare, yeah, because that's down there. You can keep it in the pocket. But I guess nothing's off the table anymore. There really isn't. Whether it's darts or pool or whatever, the most obscure kind of things. It blows my mind whether it's just YouTube, because it's YouTube, you can put anything on YouTube. Yeah. But when it's a major network,
when it's a major network, yeah, because they were carrying it on ESPN2, but they were calling it the Ocho. Yeah. So yeah, and well, like you said, they used to do late night like darts and stuff like that. Yeah. Now you can see darts at like 5 o'clock.
Or the Highland Games.
Right. Yeah. And the darts, man, it's like only English people are good at that. Like the English have darts in the bag, as it were. Yeah. Yeah, the Highland Games where they're literally throwing logs.
Yeah.
And then strongman has become more of an American thing now, because at 3 a.m. on ESPN2 in 1999, it was only Magnus Magnusson tossing the stones around. Yeah. But now, like, all the Americans are great at it. And then they're starting to become like UFC MMA fighters now. Yeah. It's all crossover, baby. Well, we are in the service industry. You and I, me and you,
on the
us two,
different ends of the pool, but yeah.
Well, yeah, we're in there.
Same pool.
Your end has more urine in it than mine.
Not in the car.
But we talk about the exchange of goods and services, or services. Yeah. And we're both in a unique position, unique in terms of business transactions. Yeah. Where typically you go into a store and you purchase something, you pay for it, and you walk out of the door. Yeah. With us, you walk in, you start using things that you will eventually pay for, hopefully. Yeah. Now at the bar, I have many ways to mitigate having problems getting paid. Yeah. One could be, I know this person's a problem. I will be taking their credit card, even if I'll cash them out for every beer if they would like me to. Yeah. But I will not put them in the book.
Right.
Without representation and have them walk away on me. Yeah. Right. Sometimes, and fool me once, shame on you. So there. But some people have like a cyclical thing where I'll be like, "You're paying up front for the next 10 times I see you." Yeah. Then they'll get back in the good graces for another 5 or 6 visits, and then they fall off the wagon again. Whatever. Right. So that becomes a cycle. But in my particular case, as a bartender, they don't bat an eye at me being like, I need you to pay up front. Okay. Now, in your situation, as breezy driver, people can get in, and because there's always, if it's more than one person in the car, they can always go under the guise of, whenever they start getting out, oh, I thought so-and-so got it. I thought so-and-so was getting it. Yeah. They didn't get it? Yeah.
Well, all right. So as far as like the bartending thing goes, I have to remind myself, especially when I'm not on Tybee, that sometimes they do want my card. Even when I go to Augusta, it's not like I'm dialed into every bar, even though I haven't lived there 16 years. But it's not. I forget sometimes that they don't know me from Adam. They want a card, Yeah. Or bars up north, it's like pay as you go, and that's what you see it in movies. Sometimes they'll have a pile of little money in front of their shot and their beer and all that, and you pay as you go.
Every time they hand you another one, they take the $5 away. And,
I forget that I have this luxury on Tybee, and I think most people do on Tybee. Is like, well, we're going to do this, and then you'll pay at the end. I expect you to, but if they don't know you, then they want a credit card. They're not saying you got to pay by drink. Yeah. If you want to run you want to run a tab. Yeah. All right, I need a card. And then I'll give it back to you, that kind of thing. And I see them hanging up on that little line behind Puckapoos.
Yep.
I mean, so it's not just, an anomaly for, at Huckapoos where they just trust everybody implicitly.
Well, and even some people were like, I don't know if I'll walk out on you. Take my card in case I do.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But, with Breezy, the understanding is I'm going to come get you. We're going to come get you, take you where you want to go, and you pay when you get out. But occasionally you get somebody like, are you the only person running? I'm like, yeah. All right. Is it cool if I get you on the way back? And depending on who it is, I'll give them that grace. Actually, most people, I'll give them that grace, because I am the only person working. So fine. I'll get the other 5 on the way back, 10, brought you here, brought you back, that kind of thing. But definitely sometimes that callback doesn't call back. So now they're kind of in the pocket. And you hate to remind them of it, but sometimes you have to.
Well, because they will approach it as if it's so uncouth that you mentioned that to them. Hey, sorry. And literally, like, I'll feel bad. Same thing. Someone forgets like a $10 tab the other night. I'll go, hey, man, the other day, it was just $10. I'm like, well, yeah, it was just $10.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yes.
If you walked out on an $80 tab, I'd have more sympathy because maybe he didn't have the money.
Well, at least with Breezy, I'm taking them to a bar, so they obviously have money to spend. Right. I don't know if they're putting it on the card,
right? Yeah.
Or they have cash or whatever. And like I said, more often than not, people pay as they go.
Yeah.
$5 there, whatever, and all that. That's fine. But you have those moments where, hey, if you're the only person, I'm going to call back for a ride in like 2 hours. It's going to be me. I'll get you back and all that. But they have enough money to go out and drink. But then all of a sudden, they don't have enough money to pay you to get back. Or even they hadn't paid you at all for the ride there or back.
But they're going to get you on your way back, man.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And the rub is where if it's somebody who doesn't know how, who doesn't know how Breezy works, we are cash. That's how we prefer things. That's how we run things.
That's what it is.
It is what it is. And if you don't, if you're not familiar with Breezy, and you don't know that, it can be a little startling. They're like, oh, I don't carry cash. You don't take Cash App or all these sorts of things. And I was like, no, we're cash. That kind of thing. But again, if you're going to
buy an ATM.
But if you're going to a bar, you're going to spend money. That kind of thing. But when you're in the Breezy, it's like, all right, I'm taking you to a bar so you can spend money at this establishment. You're going to pay your tab, hopefully tip your bartender well because you were not a pain in the ass and all that. But in the meantime, you got to get back home. So you have enough money to go out and get boozed up, but you don't have enough money to pay for your ride there and back.
And I would like to blame the Uber culture on that because you're not an Uber.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, certain young people that aren't from here be like, oh, it doesn't register to them that their credit card hasn't already been swiped.
Yes.
Because on Uber, Lyft, whatever, you're in the system. The ride's paid for.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, they get out and walk away all the time, and I have to oh.
Hey, guys, yeah. But down here, most people that, tell you they're going to pay you on the way back and all this stuff.
Yeah.
They already know the system.
If you're a local and you've used Breezy for any number of years, and Breezy's been around for 13, 14 years now, and if you've used us, regardless of the drivers or whatever and all that, but the dynamic.
Protocol's always the same no matter who's driving.
Yeah, there's no new system. That is what it's always
all the changes. It used to be $3 and now it's $5.
Yeah, that's really the only big change, since Breezy has started. And that's all well and good, but if you're a regular with us, and I know who our regulars are, depending on the night you go out or the night I drive, I know who you are, I know where you live and all that, and I know.
Yeah, people are very regimented around here about their drinking. They're like, I'm a sandbar guy Friday night, I'm a Huckapoos guy Thursday day, whatever. They like seeing their bartender.
And for every person that when say it's 2 people and one person throws me a Jackson, if I try to make it, clear the air like this is for both of you, right? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's the one person saying, hey, man, this is for you. This is on him. But there's people who definitely mooch off that. They see the exchange. They realize, well, it's only $10. He gave you $20. So I'm going to piggyback off that. We're good, right? They have this kind of misunderstanding. Well, he didn't say he was paying for you or her or
yeah, but
whatever.
your eyeballs are on my money now.
Yeah.
Assuming that it's becoming your money.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pay. He did not explicitly say.
Yeah, he or she didn't say that they were paying for you. This was this was the one person paying for the ride. And usually it's handled, this is for everybody.
But the person who would ask you that, I'm good, right?
Yeah.
You'd rather eat that $5 than have that fucking discussion with them.
Exactly. And those are the nights.
And they know that.
It's just a handful of people. This isn't a common occurrence and all that, but there are definitely
the vocal
people
minority
who see the exchange, take advantage of it. And again, like you said, I don't want to split hairs right now. It's better just to let this go.
And not with you especially.
Yeah. But it's usually the same people, and I know who they are.
Yeah, we all know who they are.
Yeah. And they do it at bars too.
Yeah. It's a trope. It's a hustle game. Now, we talked about it before the show, and I think there's got to be a bit of consciousness on their part in there so we were discussing people have bad days.
Yeah.
You and I are very alike in the same way where I'll kind of bottle up my anger, energy, whatever, as to not spew it out onto the wide world.
Right.
And I'll have a day or two of not talking to anyone where I can really just salt the wound, burn it up, and be done with it. Hurt as hard as you can for as short of a period of time as you can.
Yeah.
And don't carry that poison around with you and spread it on other people. Now, the individuals that the type of individuals we're talking about who do this to all the service industry, cabs, whatever, they spread their poison around all the time so that no one wants to go any further than just get them out of here, get them away from me. I don't care if they don't have money. And they live that. They carry their fucking poison around. Yeah. And I had people the other night where everywhere they went, you watched it was like Dawn soap in an oil slick. You watched the crowd spread as this human poison was walking through, you know?
Yeah.
So then it gets to, that type of person, then it becomes, all right, if we're friends and I like you, I'll be your pseudo confidant, or I'll be your wing person, or I'll be your pseudo therapist.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't mind being like, hey, you okay? Nah, not that much.
Yeah.
I'm not great. Oh, well, that's too bad, man. Like, let me buy you a drink, whatever. But it's not like, well, tell me everything.
Yeah. You know, with Breezy, there's only a finite amount of time that we have between A and B on the island, especially. You know, usually most rides, even if we're going deep south end to somewhere in Spanish Hammock. And so, but, you know, sometimes, you know, they'll get in the car and they'll let me know right off the rip, I don't have any money. Can you take me home? And it could be any number of reasons. It could be a domestic dispute, whatever the reason is.
Just got out of jail.
But yeah, they're upfront about it. They're like, hey, I need to get out of this. I just want to go home. Will you please just take me home? And I'm fine with that. I think everybody that drives Breezy is fine with that. It's just when you knowingly get to the end of it and then pull that card out and go,
oh, wait,
I don't have any money. I spent it all.
You knew you didn't.
You knew you didn't. And now you're doing it. And that's where the rub is. I don't mind helping people out. You know, my main concern, I think, Ron, Steven, anybody that drives Breezy would say the same thing, especially when you drive at night, is like, let's just get you home and call us back. And if you don't get me, get the next guy.
Right.
You know, if you remember that this happened, just get the next person.
But I'm willing to give you the grace this first couple times because, hey, let's just get you out of the situation, or let's get you home. You're in a bad spot, whatever.
Yeah, or you're overspent. You know, I get it, you know.
But that's not it's not a right.
No, it's not at all.
But once you're known as the people or person that will do that for them, they're like, then the trolls come out and they're like, oh, there's something to be taken advantage of.
And I'd be lying if I didn't say probably out of all of us, I probably get taken advantage of the most. Maybe I'm assuming that, but I don't think so. Ron and Lee have told me numerous times, like, Kelly, you're way too nice.
Yeah.
Instead of just, hey, come back.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
You owe us money. If you got to go in your house, I'll wait.
Right,
But there's other nights where I'm so busy, it's like, you know what, I don't have time to argue about this right now. This
$10 is going to cost me 20 other bucks.
Yeah,
fucking with you right here.
I just want you out of the car, and maybe I'll address this sometime down the road when it's more appropriate. But there are people who absolutely abuse what we do. And
what type of person knowingly would be such a energy vampire problem that they're like, yeah, as long as I do this, I'll get out of doing a lot, of
Yeah, so I guess this kind of falls into like the Karen of the week sort of thing and all that. But I had an incident last night with a couple of locals. And
wait, did you say it was the?
It's the Karen.
Is that
of the week?
Well,
it's the Karen of the week.
Shit.
It's more of like an op-ed.
I'm here for it.
This is more just kind of reminding everybody that what we do is a business. This is how I pay my bills. This is why I do the fun things that I do and make my life look careless and fancy free and all that.
Carefree Kelly.
Exactly. But it's a job. It's how I make money. This is how I pay my rent, how I keep my car driving, how I feed my kitty, how I feed myself. And when you take advantage of that endlessly, at some point I got to call you out on it. And like you were saying earlier, it's like, well, no, well, you're just mean. I'm like, no. I'm holding you accountable because you've done this numerous times. You're a habitual abuser of this relationship.
If I would have held you accountable at the very beginning without any reason for me not to, then I would have been kind of a dick.
Yeah.
But I've given you.
But last night was one of those occasions. It was two locals, and I've had these issues with them before, and they're kind of notorious for it. And it was one of these things where you were talking about like either being a therapist or how's your day or whatever and all that. And I don't mind answering questions.
Sure.
I usually let, and I said this before, I let the rider dictate what happens in the cab. If they don't want to talk, we don't have to talk. If I know where I'm picking you up and where you're going, we don't have to say two words. We can just listen to the music, you can do your thing and all that. But occasionally, they want to know about my life, and I'm honest. I mean, I think there's certain things that are off the table, and I'll let them know, but, I have no problem answering any of your questions. But sometimes it gets a little too personal. Stuff that I think is frankly inappropriate. Like if me being a man, if I'd said it to a woman, it's like, that's harassment.
Jailable?
Well, I mean, something that's and I'm not offensive. I'm not offended by much,
right?
But there are certain things where you kind of have to acknowledge, like if I said this to you as a woman, or whatever the world we live in, they, them, what doesn't matter, he, she, I don't give a shit. But when you ask certain things about my personal life, such as my relationships, or my penis size, or how I am in bed, or who I'm not with somebody, or when's the last time I got laid, that's crossing a line beyond $5. It's like, it's none of your fucking business. And I'm sorry if we get flagged on this, but I'll take it. I
don't care. Fuck it.
But I don't mind bending an ear to somebody and listening to their story. And
hey, I'm having a bad day. Oh, that's too bad. What,
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Oh, well, everything will be okay.
So as they're, being very intrusive into, frankly, what I consider uncomfortable territory conversation-wise, whether I try to laugh it off or not, they don't pay because we're going to call you later. And we're going to get a ride home. And I'm like, that's great. And they hand you a credit card. And they know we don't take credit cards. They know we don't. They know the drill. And dude, I mean, I'm not doing this story justice for a reason. Because I was incensed when I woke up this morning. I was still in a bad mood about it. But I had it out with one of them because I had her in the car a couple times Saturday night. And I basically said, you're not getting out of the car until I get paid. And I'll Venmo you or something like that. I'm like, that's well and good, but I want it now.
I want to hear the ding on my phone.
Yeah, and that's not what we do. We are cash. That's how we roll. Everybody who uses us, who has ever used us more than one or two times, know.
Venmo is an absolute last resort for tourists, mostly.
Yes, college kids. That's the only reason I even use it. But we are cash. That's the thing. And they knew that.
It's cash. That's what it is.
So after this incredibly uncomfortable ride for me, which again, I'm trying to laugh it off to a certain degree, but I'm getting asked some very...
But that's bullshit. We're not close. We're not friends like that. No. We're not on that level. There is no us.
Yeah.
There is no us.
Let's not confuse what Breezy is versus me sitting in a bar still next to you.
Yeah, this is a service.
If I was in a bar still next to you, I'd just get up and walk away.
I could.
But in this moment, they're asking me some pretty... things, I guess, where you could kind of say, hey, Kelly, you're in a bad mood, you need to get laid or something like that. I could laugh that off, but I don't carry...
That's not so intrusive. And like we were saying, you're not carrying that weight on your,
We all have those days, I don't want to work today. I wish I didn't have to do what I have to do,
sure.
even if it's the easiest job in the world, which I consider Breezy is really the easiest job in the world. But I try not to carry that heat over onto the passengers, When you ask somebody, how you doing? And you actually tell them how you're doing, you're like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of grateful some nights when the ride is as short as it is. But when people delve a little further beyond that into something that's like, that's just not appropriate. It's none of your it's none of your business who.
So someone asking you how big is your dick is off the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we were there's poking at somebody, and then this was a very serious. I mean, they were like, so really, this plot of,
It wasn't fun sounding.
No, it was not. This was a very direct
This wasn't
question
playful flirting.
Because she was talking, fine, they were girls. They were talking about, well, my boyfriend's got a 12-inch dick and da-da-da-da, how big are you and all that. I'm like, well, then enjoy your 12-inch dick. Why would you...
could you just pay me real quick?
Yeah. So I'm like, how much do you weigh? How much do you weigh? I mean, you want to? I was trying to shut this down. Like, well, it's none of your business how big my dick is. How
Well,
much
it
do you
depends.
are you pregnant? Because you look fat as fuck to me.
The size of my dick depends on how much you weigh right now. Oh my
Yeah.
God, how dare you ask me how much I weigh?
Yeah, and as big as you are, my 12-inch dick would be lost in you anyway. I'd have to tie a board to my ass to make sure I don't fall in.
I love it.
So no, I mean, look, I've always maintained.
What are you, some kind of softy lib, man? You can't handle chicks asking you about your penis, man?
No, actually, depending on how it's phrased, but in this moment, this was I don't want to say it was like.
That's invasive.
It was intrusive. It was inappropriate for what I do for a living.
Right.
I don't mind.
And we're not friends like that.
No, not at all. Again, like I said, if I was at a bar stool, I could walk away, but I didn't have that option. They were in the car.
But there's this expectation that and just call it like adult male, right? Adult male, regardless of who you are, you kind of it's expected that you're supposed to and able to take more jabs like that,
dude,
which is true in a sense.
I'm almost 55 and white. I'm everybody's asshole in the world.
You're a real asshole, that's for
I'm
sure.
the reason that the world is the way it is, and we don't get it. But in this moment, it was really about that's just none of your fucking business. It really isn't your business. When's the last time I slept with somebody? Who it was?
Whoa.
That kind of stuff. So and of course you kind of think about it later, and you kind of go, I wish I'd said this, and I wish I'd phrased it this way. But I figured the best way to disarm it was well, how much do you weigh? Because girls don't traditionally like that. I was like,
weird.
Are you pregnant?
And you're aware of that, so you don't typically do it until forced to.
Yeah, but it was just it's none of your business. And whether you think I'm low-hanging fruit because I'm not dating anybody currently or whatever, it's none of your concern.
Just because I'm really cool and handsome and not dating anyone lately and I'm totally available and really cool and smart doesn't mean.
And I'm not saying that about myself. They assume that.
No.
But that this was what that was based off of. I'm certain it was.
Yeah, for sure.
And fine. If I'm easy on the eyes, then thank God for me. Thank God for you. Thank God for anybody who doesn't, make you cringe and turn away.
Yeah.
But in this moment, it was really just. God, I hate to say it inappropriate because it's been overused and I'm offended and all that, but it was offensive.
Yeah, it was just. It seemed like
$5 doesn't buy you that kind of thing.
Well, if it were even $5 because you didn't get paid for the ride.
I didn't get paid at all, either way. And there will be a reckoning with this. Trust me.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It's not like, I'm going to go tell Ryan and I'm going to go tell Daddy and all that. Because frankly, neither one of these two are going to move the needle breezy-wise anyway.
Yeah.
If I tell Ron, and I'm going to let them know, and Lee, beware. And maybe just call them out, do you have money? Because I'm going to do it from now on. When I see those numbers come up, first thing out of my mouth is do you have money? Well, no, click.
Well, that circles back to the luxury as a bartender. Is when the person walks in, whether you've dealt with them before or not, and you know that they're a menace, that they're a problem, you can be like, hey, I need you to pay up front.
Yeah.
You guys haven't started, you haven't gotten to that point at the breezy yet, but I think it's okay to do so.
It's getting there with some people.
Not with everyone. You get there, but you get to a certain point where it's it's the dog whistle to everyone. Hey, things are changing. There's no more. You're on the naughty list of. You have to have money when I call you.
Yeah, and people have gotten banned from Breezy for any number of reasons. Whether they're just whether they're abusive to us or other people in the car.
Right. It just takes a lot.
Yeah,
you got to be a real fucking douchebag.
And usually there's a probationary period. For the time being, no.
Yeah.
But we'll try again in a few months and see how it goes, and then we'll see how, we'll take it from there. And again, I've always, our job is to get people home safely. It's not my job to get you to the bar safely necessarily, but my job is to get people home safely, and I hope they remember that for any driver, whether it's Ron or Steven or anybody who drives at night, Joe, whatever. I hope they remember that. And like I said, catch the next person. But when you start taking advantage of it and you start delving into something that's really none of your business, that's where I take an issue. And it's not because they're being derogatory, well, Kelly, you're an asshole because you don't want to answer that question. It's no, it's none of your business. I don't peddle in gossip.
Right.
I don't. And it's, and shame on people, shame on you if you do. Because it seems like there's people on Tabby, a certain ilk that love gossip. And there's also people I have to remind, that was one night. I promise you, don't be embarrassed. This will be an old story within 24 hours.
Yeah, don't worry. Someone's going to take the mantle up within the next 12 hours.
But with these two in particular, they're on my radar.
There you go.
And going forward, when they do call, it's going to be do you have money right now?
Right
not,
now.
not walking in, I'll get you later, I'm going to Venmo
Yeah.
you. No, it's like if you don't, click.
Show me it whenever you get to the door, too.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. And if I hear anything but, yes, I have it,
Click.
click. If they call back, nothing.
This is the clarion call, guys. Tighten up. So, speaking of money, just to end it on like a kind of a funny, positive note, and Kelly, thank you for that. I wanted you to exercise those demons because we never talk about it because we never bring Breezy into this podcast a lot because.
Well, I think what we do is kind of just assumed. But again, it's my job.
Yeah.
This is how I make my money, so I don't have to call mommy
Yeah.
and ask to bail me out rent-wise.
And it's still a business, and yes, I will be as fun as you want or as quiet as you want, whatever. But it's still a fucking business.
Yeah, and I don't mind a little slap and tickle every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But this line of questioning was very intrusive into my personal life. And like I said, I don't mind answering questions honestly. I'll do the best I can. But if I think there's a line that I don't want, I'll let them know. Like, well, I don't want to answer that based off you don't work for Breezy, so I don't want to tell you how Breezy works. I don't want to tell you what my split is versus what Ron and Lee get and this and that and blah, blah, blah and all that. And they've got my back on this. If you work for them, then you'll figure it out. Yeah. But,
But that doesn't need to be public knowledge.
Yeah, what I make in a night, I'll tell you, it's like anything in the service industry. I don't know. It varies. I mean, I've been working the same 3 nights for a while now, so I have a basic idea of what I'm more or less going to get each week. It moves and ebbs and flows, but it's really none of your business how much I make. It's like when you work at a job, and especially when you're at a salary position, and people want to know, well, how much you making? Because they're doing the same job. That's you don't do that.
That's dangerous territory, baby.
Absolutely. It's like, well, I'm doing the exact same job you are. Why are you getting paid this much more than me? That kind of thing. So I always got to let people know it's like, I do very well. I have a very good life.
I'm doing fine.
My overhead's very low by design.
Yeah.
I get to do what I want and come and go as I please and all that. And that's all you need to know. And if you want to drive for Breezy, then then you'll find out what.
And I have a perfectly acceptable sized penis.
Yes. No one's complaining that I know of. It's what I was born with and it's what I got.
So the cycle of the cash that gets tossed around to all of us, it's funny because this was not a planned segment. This happened when you walked in today.
I was hot.
No, I'm talking about the money segment.
Sorry.
This is not a planned segment. So I had a $20 bill here on Friday night. Da-na-na-na-na. And I pulled it out of my wallet, and it was already torn pretty bad, and the rest tore away. But it's only like, a fifth or a sixth of a sliver ripped off of the bill. So I put it back in my wallet without the sliver. I left the sliver on the table down there. Mm-hmm. And I go to work. I get to work. Straight away, I trade it out of my register.
Of course.
For a good 20.
Yeah.
The very next person that needs change over 20, guess what they're getting? Yeah. Boom. So I pass it off. Hour ticks by, maybe. Somehow, someone has handed me some cash to pay for their tab, folded. Uh-huh. They're walking away, as I've unraveled it, here's that fucking 20 again. Uh-huh. Stick it back in the register. I pass it off once more. Uh-huh. Today, you walk in the door. Mm-hmm. This was Saturday. This is Monday. Today, you walk into the door and go, what's this sliver of a $20 bill? I think I saw the other end of it. I said,
I did.
I said, tell me who you got it from. He goes, yeah, this person was...
No, he wasn't trying to get over on me. He was like, is this cool? And I was like, and I knew he had more than just that one Jackson in there. Yeah. I'm like, I'd rather have the full one, But again.
A bank will take it.
Yeah. A bank will take it. It had the serial numbers and all that. Your sliver, there's nothing you can do with that.
Oh, no. I don't know why I didn't throw the sliver away. I just thought it was a novelty.
Yeah, well, it's a bookmark at this point. There's no bank's going to take it.
Well, now the universe had spoken so that you could walk in and see it. I mean, obviously that's what happened.
But I saw the other 2/3 or 5/8 of it, or whatever the hell it was, and I was like, I know I can put this in my bank account, but I'd rather have one of those other 18, 20s that you've got.
Well, it's funny because it's like how slick and sly we all are passing it off on each other. But at least he wasn't like, because you know what? When I gave it as change to people, I hit it.
Well, dude, I'd be lying if I said I don't give I give my most busted money to my gas money that I leave for the next dude the next morning. It's not like something that they can't use as change or whatever and all that. And I'm not like so anal where it's like I got everything crisp and the edges aren't crinkled.
Sure.
But but I understand that. But trust me, I've gotten the wadded bunch of money from people, and then you go and it's like 4 of them. They all get out of the car, and all of a sudden it's like $8.
Yeah.
And they go, and by that point they've scattered into the wind.
Yeah.
So there's no chasing them down.
No.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Fuck them.
Well, I'm glad we got this all out of us. I'm glad.
I feel better.
I'm glad the world knows.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. All right, guys. Thank you all for listening again this week. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/FromBeyondTheBarcast. Or if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're on Spotify, give us a like, give us a follow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trying to get done for
Fucking